If your Momcozy pump suddenly feels weaker, isn't emptying you properly, or just doesn't seem to be working like it used to, don't panic. Most of the time, it's actually not the pump itself. It's usually one of these 5 common issues, and they're all easy to fix. Issue 1, the most common reason your Momcozy pump doesn't work well is the flange size. A lot of people assume that if it feels comfortable, it might be the right fit, but comfort and correct fit aren't always the same thing. Another thing that surprises many people is that your flange size can actually change over time as you get further postpartum and things start to settle. Some people find that they actually need a smaller size than they did in the earlier weeks. So if your flange size is too big or too small, milk flow can be affected and pumping can feel less effective. So take a few minutes, recheck your pump size. If you in fact need a smaller flange size, you can simply use a flange insert. It goes nice and smooth into your pump. Make sure you are getting the correct sized flange inserts for your Momcozy pumps. They are not a one flange insert fits all types of pumps. They are unique to each brand, so make sure that you are using the correct one. As well, the sizing, you can see here that it is written on your flanges, so make sure you got the correct flange insert, and this can make a huge difference almost immediately. This one change alone fixes most of my pump isn't working problems. Issue number 2, your suction is set too high. This one actually surprises a lot of people, but with wearables, higher suction doesn't always mean better results. If suction is too strong, it can actually make your pump feel less effective and more uncomfortable. So try on your pump lowering. So if you're at a level 9, try lowering it down. I always recommend starting on a level 2 to 3 and seeing how your body responds. A steady, comfortable rhythm often works better than cranking the setting up as high as it will go. If it feels tense or pinchy, it's usually too high. Issue number 3, you're in the wrong mode for too long. Another common issue is not just adjusting modes once the pump switches into the expression mode. So most of the Momcozy pumps will automatically start in your stimulation, the short suctions for initiating your letdown, and then move to your expression mode, which are the longer drawn out suctions for drawing out your breast milk. So that normally happens on its own after around 2 minutes in the stimulation, and then it switches over to expression. Where people can run into issues is if they are staying in the expression the entire session without making any adjustments if milk flow starts to slow down. So some people find it helpful switching back briefly to your stimulation and then returning to expression, while others prefer to use the mix mode, which if your pump has that, does that automatically for you, which is normally the combination of different patterns of stimulation and expression. Some mums find they respond best to 5 minutes of stimulation followed by 5 minutes of expression, switching back to 5 minutes of stimulation and 5 minutes of expression. There really is no single right option here. It's just about noticing how your body responds and making small changes rather than leaving everything on the same settings for your full session. Number 4. Now this one's a big one. Because Momcozy pumps are wearable, these silicone parts tend to wear over time, especially parts like your duckbill valves and your diaphragms. So if suction suddenly feels weaker or one side feels different from the other, it's worth checking both the valves and the diaphragms. Look for any stretching, especially on your duckbill valve. This should be nice and sealed and closed. If it's open slightly, it is time to replace it. Any tiny tears, any parts that aren't sitting flat or sealing properly. Even if everything looks fine at first glance, resetting the valves and diaphragms or replacing worn pieces can often restore your suction straight away. So always one to give a test out and see how that goes. They're very inexpensive, worth testing. And then finally is your positioning and support. So this matters more than most people realize. If the pump isn't sealed across here properly, or if the flange, let's see if I've got one, the flange isn't central with your nipple, air leaks can reduce the suction. But the bra you're wearing also can make a big difference. If it's too loose, your pump can move out of alignment while you're wearing it. As well as it may not sit securely. If it's too tight, it can press the pump out of position as well and affect the seal. So take a moment, make sure the pump is sitting nice and flush, it feels secure and it's positioned comfortably. Your nipple is nice and centrally aligned. Sometimes it's just a matter of changing bras or leaning forward slightly or adjusting your placement just by a few millimeters, and that can make a world of a difference. So if you feel like your Momcozy pump isn't working properly, it's usually something small. It's not normally a faulty pump. So try taking a moment to check, fit, the different settings and positionings, because they can all make a big difference. I've linked to a couple of other helpful Momcozy resources in the description if you want to explore this further. And if this was helpful at all, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help this get discovered and help other pumping mums. And if you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will do my very best to answer. Cheers.